Pues nada, seguimos aquí con este juego. Y vamos a ver quién mató a quién. Bueno, quién mató a quién, no. Quién mató a Sayaka, porque quién sabemos quién ha muerto. Tenemos que entrar aquí directamente, ¿verdad? Porque... Ah, no, teníamos que hacer dos cosas. Una, buscar aquí. Perdón, aquí. El cuchillo. Y la otra no me acuerdo cuál era. ¿Cuál era la otra, tío? No recuerdo. Había dos cosas que hacer, pero ya no me acuerdo. Y mira que juego solo hace unas horas. Una es mirar lo del cuchillo, que estoy seguro que es aquí. En la cocina de aquí, vamos. ¡Oh! Está aquí la waifu bronceada. Cuéntame, ¿qué me cuentas? Ah, ya me acuerdo cuál era el otro. El otro era ver el vídeo de la pava. ¡La cocina! No hay nadie en la cocina. Esto es muy raro. Que no haya nadie en la cocina, que es donde estaban los cuchillos y ha muerto una con un cuchillazo, me parece súper extraño. Estoy mirando todo de nuevo por si acaso me dan una monedita nueva, pero parece ser que no. ¿Ves? Falta un cuchillo. Y sabemos que falta un cuchillo porque estuvimos aquí la otra vez y miramos y no... Y estaban todos los cuchillos, vamos. No faltaba uno ahí. Vale, no hay nada más, eso es esto. Ya está, no hay nada más, tío. Pensaba que habría algo más aquí. Nada, fuera, vámonos de aquí. Vamos a ver el vídeo de la Sayaka. Para ver el vídeo de Sayaka hay que ir por aquí. ¡Vámonos! Podría explorar más cosas. Aquí estuvo Sayaka una vez. No hay nadie aquí, ¿verdad? Está loca.
This is very suspicious.
Qué pesado. Piensa que fui yo, porque murió en mi cuarto. Vale, tía. A ver, ¿aquí hay alguien también? Aquí no hay nadie. Aquí no se puede explorar. Aquí vamos a ver el vídeo de Sayaka, pero antes de ver el vídeo voy a entrar aquí. A ver si veo alguna cosa interesante. Bueno, aquí tengo que jugar gastando una monedita hasta que me salga una cosa que necesito. Pero por lo demás, yo creo que lo hemos mirado todo. Tío, hay una máquina de estas hasta aquí, ¿eh? Creo que me deja alguna moneda, tío, en algún lado, porque creo que son 20 por nivel o algo así. Y solo hemos encontrado 18, 19 o algo así.
Well... As for me...
¡Anda! Eso no se me había ocurrido a mí y seguro que me lo han dicho antes. Mirad en la habitación de la basura. Todo esto ya lo he mirado antes. Todo esto está mirado, ¿verdad? Sí. Pues vamos a ir a la habitación de la basura. Que de hecho yo creo que no hemos entrado nunca. Esto está cerrado. A ver el baño de chicos. Nada que ver aquí. ¿Y la habitación de la basura no hemos entrado? Nada. Y nada. No vamos a entrar en el gimnasio porque hemos estado hace nada. ¿La habitación de la basura dónde está, tío? ¿Cómo es posible que nos hayamos dejado? Ah, porque estaba en la primera parte y no hemos hecho nada en la primera parte. Puede ser. Podría teletransportarme y es más rápido, ¿eh? Pero me gusta más ir a hacer las cosas así, rapidito. O sea, corriendo. Por lo menos me muevo algo, tío. Es que si no, no... Ahí está la habitación de la basura. Y la lavandería tampoco hemos entrado. Y en este baño tampoco hemos entrado. No hay nadie. Aquí es donde gente puede destruir pruebas y evidencias, ¿no? A ver quién está aquí. Pero ¿cómo van a destruir aquí algo si está todo lejos? ¿Es verdad? A ver. Nada. No parece que haya nada interesante, la verdad. Ahí no se puede entrar. Si está cerrada con una baraja, ¿cómo va a haber algo? ¡Hostia, qué susto!
No, you can't go any further! No, you can't go any further!
¿Eh?
No, you can't go any further!
Solo repite lo mismo una y otra vez.
No, you can't go any further!
Eso es interesante, ¿eh? O sea, que alguien tiene el deber de limpiar y es el único que ha podido entrar aquí. A ver, se puede ver en... Vale, ahora sí que vamos al sitio del vídeo. ¿Quién será quien esté al cargo de la limpieza? Bueno, la limpieza de tirar basuras. ¿Aquí hemos mirado de nuevo? Podría haber que alguien esté lavando su ropa. Es muy probable que alguien... Yo sé que se ha tenido que manchar con el amarillo de la espada. Así que es posible... Es posible que alguien haya intentado lavar ropa. Yo miro todo, por si alguna tiene una mancha amarilla o algo. ¿Nadie intenta lavar su ropa? No, tampoco le habría dado mucho tiempo. Luego aquí está el bañador de la bronceada, porque tiene que ser seguro el de bronceada. Y ya no hay nada más, ¿no? Bueno, aquí hay una... Bueno, esta es la puerta sería, yo creo. Ah, no, es una máquina. No, coño. No quería ver eso. Ah, no, que no. Creía que se podía mirar el mapa, pero no. Oye, aquí me sale un circulito y no me está dejando cogerlo. ¿Por qué? Ah, ahora que me faltaba girar un poquito más. Pues ya está, ya no hay nada más. Vámonos. Ahora sí que sí, vamos a ver el vídeo ese. ¡Urre! ¿Con esto hemos hablado?
Listen to me! That's wrong! ha ha! Count on it!
¿Ifumi?
Got it!
Ifumi. El friki. Pero todo apunta a que el verdadero asesino fue León. No sé yo. Vamos a ver el vídeo de la pava. Vamos a ver qué vídeo ha tenido ella. Un vídeo de ella cantando.
Mizono, the ultimate pop sensation, lead singer for a world-famous all-girl pop band. For these girls, the glowing spotlight only made them that much more beautiful. But then...
¿Qué?
This ultra-successful team, none of them will ever perform on stage again. None of them will ever feel the warmth of the spotlight. For Sayaka, there's simply nowhere for her to return to. So here's the billion-dollar question. What, oh what, could have caused the group to go to pieces?
Vaya mierda de vídeo, ¿eso le puso tan nerviosa? No puede ser. Que no me lo creo. Pero vamos a buscar a Ifumi. Para buscarlo vamos a hacerlo con el mapa, que es más rápido. ¿Por qué me sale este signo? Ifumi está al lado de la cocina. Vale, pues ahora vamos. Pero un momento, ¿por qué me sale ese? ¿Por qué me ha salido el signo en el vídeo? Sí, ya he visto. ¿Había algo más que ver? Qué raro, no sé, me salía el signo de exclamación en esta sala, ¿no? A ver, vamos a buscar al Ifumi, que está aquí. Me salía que estaba aquí y yo no lo veo. Pero sí, ¿dónde está? Dice que está aquí y aquí no está. Me sale el león, Byakuya y el otro. Y yo no los veo aquí. Aquí está el Byakuya. Ah, no, míralo, ahí está. No ha empezado.
Here we go.
Very strange. So in other...
Claro.
So that's it.
Hey, listen. Hey, you bastard.
Oh,
You... Is it, like...
there's no way to think about this in a
You know what I mean.
completely unforgivable.
Oh, madre mía.
Give me a break.
Oh, Mari. ¿Pero qué estás hablando, chaval?
What?
Pues mira, ha sido más fácil de lo que pensaba. Venga, ábreme.
Da-da-da-da-da! Mr. Naegi, without a doubt.
Vale. Aquí hay algo. Monedita. Yo tengo 20, no sé si habrá más. Vale, tenemos... Aquí hay algo. Pero primero vamos a ver los... No, vamos a ver esto. ¡Oh, my God! ¿Eso no es del adivinador? Del este de los espíritus. Es una bola de cristal rota, ¿no?
Is this?
Más cosas que mirar. ¡Ey! ¿Esto? ¡Es una manga! ¡Una manga con sangre! Ah, está encendido.
Yes, indeed. Was it a fairy?
I feel as if...
Most suspicious.
Es verdad, ¿cómo coño ha abierto eso sin haber entrado?
Completely unfortunate. That's it. I'm sure of it.
¿Puedo apagarlo? No, no puedo apagarlo. Pues ya está. Voy a hablar con este por si acaso, pero ya nos vamos.
Come on, come on.
Vale. Uy, a ver qué pasa. Ah, mira, un momento las report cards. Tú tienes una ropa que es similar. Tú no pareces, tú no pareces. Tú podrías ser también por la ropa blanca con mangas, con botones. Y además, yo tengo toda la sospecha de que es este, porque lo de león es muy claro, ¿no? Pero este hijo de perra es el de las bolas de cristal. Y no veo a nadie más que pueda ser realmente. Tengo mis dudas entre dos personas. Vamos al gym. Un segundo, me han escrito un WhatsApp. Nada, olvidémonos, no es nada importante. ¡Vamos allí corriendo! Hemos encontrado evidencias y debemos preguntar al tío. El clairvoyant. La bola de cristal. Aquí estás. Uy, no. Digo, perdón. Tú.
What the heck? What?
Meh. A ti te podríamos preguntar por lo de los números, aunque yo creo que fue León directamente.
I'm.
¿Cuándo para esto? Porque yo ya estoy seguro que ha sido León, que intentó lavar su ropa y como no pudo, se fue allí y se llevó la pelota sin querer incluso. Se me ha ido el agua para el otro lado, me cago en la mar. O sea, ¿voy a estar dando vueltas hasta que pase algo interesante o qué? Espérate, por aquí estaba León, ¿no? Vamos a preguntarle a León una última vez.
Seems like...
Ah, pues su ropa no se parece tanto como yo pensaba. Pero sí, yo creo que ha sido León. Y aquí ya hemos estado, ya hemos mirado. ¿Por qué vamos a tener que mirar otra vez? No va a aparecer nada nuevo, ¿no? ¿O sí? Es que está todo igual. Voy a mirar todos otra vez, pero yo creo que esto ya... Me salta una. ¿Ves? Y todo es lo mismo. No hay nada, tío. Todo esto ya lo hemos mirado. Nada. Si es que no hay nada que mirar aquí. ¿Qué tengo que hacer ahora? ¿Será hablar con la de la escena del crimen otra vez? No, no, no. No. No está aquí. Pensaba que estaba aquí la tía detective. A ver, si esto es más rápido haciéndolo así. A buscar a la tía detective. ¿Dónde está la tía detective? me sale una exclamación aquí? Si ya he estado. Ah, porque deben ser los sitios especiales donde tengo que mirar, ¿no? Sí, salen todos aquí marcados. ¿Qué? ¿Dónde está la tía detective? ¡La tía detective está desaparecida! Y no es coña, está desaparecida.
By the way,
Ah, mira, este me había dicho lo
you
detrás.
son of a... Shit. You're fucking dead. Yo.
Hey.
Esto ya lo hemos visto todo, tío. O sea, que tenemos que encontrar a la Kyoko esta. Bueno, vamos a mirar en mi habitación. A ver si está aquí. No entiendo, tío, ¿dónde está la tía detective? Esto es muy raro. Voy a hablar con este, que creo que con este no he hablado.
Very strange.
No, este sí he hablado. Vamos a ir a la habitación de la basura otra vez, creo yo, ¿no? Porque... ¿dónde está la pava esta? ¿Se habrá metido aquí? No creo. No, aquí está solo este. Esto es para acercarse más, ¿no? Sí. Ah, no, que... ¿Y esto no lo podrá abrir el otro? Qué raro. Este ya lo he visto. Fuera. Vámonos. Hay que encontrar a la detective, seguro. ¿Dónde está? Ni puñetera idea. Vamos a mirar la cocina. Porque no está apareciendo por ningún lado. Ahí no se puede entrar. Aquí está esta, pero no está la detective.
Yeah, totally. That's right. Well...
Bueno. ¿Me faltaba esta prueba o qué? ¿Pero por qué todo el mundo piensa que la he matado yo? Si todo el mundo ha estado en el sitio donde yo he estado, siempre.
I mean...
Ah, mira, me faltaba esta prueba y ya automáticamente salta lo que sea, ¿no? A ver.
It's time. Now then, please go through the red door.
Ah, red door. I have to go, o sea, directamente te llevan. No puedes irte para ningún otro lado, ¿no? ¿Puedes huir? O sea, ¿puedes explorar otras cosas mientras? No, no te deja. Pero vamos a comprobar, antes de entrar en la red door, si hay alguien por aquí haciendo alguna cosa. Nadie. Esto está abierto, ¿eh? Ah, pero no te dejan pasar. O sea, esto es un pasillo directo, ¿no? Que no puedes hacer otra cosa. No puedes ir a explorar, no puedes hacer nada. Tienes que ir directamente a la habitación roja. Pues vale. Pues esto es una tontería, ¿no? Te deja moverte un poquito y ya está. Pues bueno, pues vale. ¡Vamos! Ay. Joder.
Listen to me.
Tu manga es muy parecida también a la manga con sangre que hemos visto, ¿eh?
Please board the elevator in where all your... I'll meet you...
A ver, tengo la sospecha de este y de este especialmente. También podría ser este, pero tiene las mangas siempre recogidas, o sea que no creo que haya sido este. Tiene que ser o este o este. Y principalmente este porque es que es muy descarado lo de León, es muy descarado. A ver, ¿y esto cómo funciona ahora? Le hablo a cualquiera, voy a hablarle a esta que esta siempre tiene conclusiones bastante acertadas. Gracias por tanta ayuda. No quería darle a ella otra vez, quería darle a la de atrás. A esta. Tú, que estás ahí. A ver, tú.
You know what I mean.
Se me has hecho una mierda y además sé que tú eres el desgraciado que ha matado a nosotros, vamos. ¿Alguna cosa que me puedas ayudar?
I'm sorry.
Joder, tío. Haz menos si puedes.
Hey.
Impossible. You know?
Why?
Ese comentario no me gustó ni un
What?
pelo, ¿eh? Ah, pues habrá que empezar. Es hablando a este desgraciado, ¿no? Espérate, que hay cositas que ver. No me había fijado y a lo mejor puedo encontrar una monedita o algo. A ver, es que no sé si es hablando con este o mirando a la puerta. Vamos a hablar con este.
Got it.
Vale, hay que entrar a la puerta.
Well,
Yes, indeed. Hey,
Ahora mismo no puedo hablar.
Makoto.
Vale, un momentito. Vamos a parar un segundo, que me han llamado por teléfono y tengo que ver qué quieren. Y estamos justo en el momento final de esto. Venga. A ver, a ver. Se viene, se viene.
Oh,
Joder.
Shit.
Well now.
Joder, León está muy con cara de culpable, ¿eh? Bueno, el Ifumi también tiene una cara que vaya tela. La loca siempre tiene la misma cara, así que bueno. Sí, vamos a guardar. Por si hay que. Si la caga. Por si la cagamos, que esté eso guardado. Ah, puedo mirar las últimas cosas antes de terminar. Es que eso es león, tío. Eso no es 11037. Eso es león al revés. Esa manga, tío. Es que el problema es que en las Revolcar estas no se ve el traje completo. Me gustaría ver la manga de los trajes. Ah, mira, ya salen estas como muertas. Entonces la otra también, ¿no? Efectivamente. ¿Esto qué es? Son habilidades que me puedo poner. Tengo algo así. Pues no me la he puesto al final, creo. Pero bueno.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate.
And the killer really is one of us, right?
Of course!
Okay then. Everyone, close your eyes. And whoever did it, raise your hand.
Don't be a goddamn idiot. Why the hell would they raise their hand?
Ah, la manga de este es diferente, no puede ser.
What's going on with those pictures?
Es verdad, porque están las estas de las otras.
I feel awful if they got left out just because they died. Friendship penetrates even death's barrier.
Okay, but what about that other empty seat? There were only 15 of us to begin with, so why are there 16 seats?
Es verdad, porque hay 16 en vez de 15.
Oh, no reason. It's just that our little courtroom here can technically fit up to 16 people.
Seguramente se habrá escuchado horriblemente algo porque está tocando el micro, pero bueno.
Okay, that about does it for the preamble. Get ready to get started. First up is the case summary. Now, let the class trial begin.
Venga, vamos a oír más, sí, claro. Sin pausa. A ver, esto no va a ser fácil. Ah, vale. Ah, eso soy capaz, ¿eh? Madre mía. Ahora es cuando empieza de verdad el juego. Seguro que la cago, tío. Sí, soy malísimo.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono.
Yeah, we know that part already.
And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
¡Le pega un tiro! Pero no fue en el baño donde le sorprendió, ¿no? Fue en el cuarto donde estaba todo destruido.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono!
And the murder took place
in the bathroom. So it seems the killer must have taken her by surprise while she didn't even have a chance to resist.
¿Ves? Esto es lo que yo digo.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono!
¿Pero por qué no me deja pegarle un tiro?
So it seems the killer must have taken her by she didn't even have a chance to resist.
Ah, coño, que tengo que darle justo en la parte amarilla. Si no, no vale.
Just a second, Chihiro. Try to remember how my room looked.
Claro, es lo que yo quería decir.
With the way things had been damaged, I think we can definitely assume there was a struggle.
A struggle? Between who and who?
Between Sayaka and the killer, of course.
So you're saying Sayaka wasn't caught by surprise in the bathroom?
She must have been attacked in the main room first. Then, she ran to the bathroom to try and have the killer followed her in. And that's where they finished the job.
That much should have been obvious after taking one look at the scene. It shouldn't even need explaining.
Sorry.
Okay, so what's next?
Next is the subject of the murder.
Wow, this is starting to sound like a real trial.
Voy a intentar escuchar todas las voces completamente. Está divertido. A ver, venga, otro disparito, ¿no? A ver quién dice la tontería más grande.
So what was used to kill her?
There was some kind of sharp object thrust into her stomach. Without a doubt, that is the murder weapon.
So the killer used some random knife they had on him.
Vale, no es un random knife porque hemos visto la cocina.
No. I do think it was a knife, but not just any knife. I'm almost positive it was a kitchen knife.
Huh? A kitchen?
After the murder, we discovered that one of the knives from the kitchen was missing.
Which means that knife must be the murder weapon.
Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense. You could sort of see the weapon sticking out of her stomach. And if you look real close, I could totally see that being a kitchen knife.
Okay, so the murder weapon was a kitchen knife, but where does that get us?
Oh, tío, se te ve el plumero.
I mean, we all know Makoto killed her, right?
That's right. Makoto's room was the scene of the
¿No puedes
crime.
parar esto?
What more proof do you need?
Hold on a second.
Let's draw our conclusions after we've presented our arguments. Otherwise, what's the point of the trial?
Well, we can talk all we want. It's not going to change that conclusion.
I don't think that's true at all. I'm sure if we keep at it, something new will reveal itself.
You really believe that?
There's a bit more to me. Sí, claro, claro, venga. Dime. De RB Button. Este, ¿no? Pues ese otro. RB es este de aquí arriba. Ah. O sea que puedo ralentizar para enterarme de lo que dicen. Vale. Aoi's account. Ah,
So I guess there's no question that the kitchen knife was the murder weapon.
But where does that get us?
Makoto must have taken it from the kitchen, right? You did it in secret.
No, that's wrong.
Tiempo ni a leerlo, pero yo le he dado, por si acaso, porque lo he visto amarillo.
Okay, wait. Hold on. I didn't take the knife from the kitchen.
Ah, claro. No lo he cogido.
You're gonna say you're not the killer, right? Go ahead and say it all you want.
Well, what if I have a witness? What do you think, Hina?
Huh?
Remember what you were telling me earlier?
Claro.
Just to be perfectly clear, the knife disappeared while you were in the dining hall, correct?
Yeah, that's...
And at any point while you were there, did you ever see me come into the dining hall?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, he definitely wasn't there.
The knife disappeared while Hina was in the dining hall. But I wasn't there the entire time. In other words, there's no way I could have taken the knife.
Okay, then what about this? What if the idiot swimmer girl and Makoto are in on it together, and lying to protect each other?
Idiot swimmer girl? Oh, and more importantly, why would I get involved in something like that?
Speaking of which, I'd like to ask the bear, if there is an accomplice, do they also become black?
So you ask, and so I shall answer.
A ver, ¿puede haber cómplices?
Each murder is allowed to have an accomplice, but only the one who does the killing will get to graduate.
Entonces el otro va a morir igualmente.
So in other words, two people can work together, but one of them has no chance of profiting from it.
Then there's no way anyone would work together, right?
But what if they did work together, and they just didn't know about the rule?
Good grief! Enough already! No, okay? There are no accomplices in this case! Oops! Did I say that out loud?
Anyway, I didn't go to the dining hall, and I didn't take the knife, so I'm not the killer.
Okay, so then, who did take the knife?
Hina seems the obvious candidate. After all, she just said she was in the dining hall.
No way! I swear it wasn't me!
Sure, but can you or anyone else prove that? I can.
That's right. Sakura was with me the entire time I was drinking my tea.
I hate to have to ask, but just to be sure, Sakura's...
Me.
Right. But then, couldn't either one of them have grabbed the knife?
Actually, no. Because, well...
Just spit it out already.
I stayed in Hina's room last night.
I got so scared thanks to those creepy videos. I wasn't really thinking, I just asked her to stay over. Which means we have airtight alibis. You stayed over? Doesn't that violate one of the school regulations?
Ahora todo el mundo sabe que no tiene por qué ser en su propio dormitorio.
Dorms, but it doesn't say we have to stay in our assigned room, so I don't think that's a problem.
It is a problem! A boy and a girl spending the night together? It's unwholesome!
Pero ellas dos son chicas.
I'm a girl.
You are? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry!
¿En serio, tío? ¿No lo ves clarísimo que es una tía?
But if it wasn't either of you, then what other possibility is there?
Actually, there is one other possibility. Right, Hina?
Oh, yeah, that's true! One other person did come to the dining hall while we were there.
Why didn't you say so in the first place?
Well, because they're not here anymore.
Lo mejor es que fue Junko.
Sayaka. She's the one who came to the dining hall. And then later, she wound up dead.
¿Sayaka cogió el cuchillo?
I got it!
¿Sayaka cogió el cuchillo?
Sayaka is the one who took the knife?
That's the only possibility. And thinking back on it, she was acting kind of unusual. When she came into the dining hall, she didn't even look at us. She just went straight to the kitchen. As she left, she said she just wanted a drink of water. But most likely...
The person who took the knife was the victim herself.
I'm sure she just took it for self-defense.
Sí, la verdad es que estaba buscando un arma en los días anteriores.
So you're saying the knife she took was then taken from her, and she was killed with it?
Sí.
In that case, you may not have taken the knife, but you still could have killed her.
What?
Es verdad. Para ellos
He
puede ser.
did do it after all.
No, you're wrong.
So, that's how you would twist the argument and send us all off in the wrong direction? You possess a most terrifying talent.
Hold on. It's still too early to decide conclusively that Makoto is the killer, wouldn't you say? Because you see, if the room did belong to the killer, then they did something most bewildering. And until we unravel that little mystery, you simply can't declare that he's the killer.
Bewildering? What the hell are you talking about?
Something was missing from the scene of the crime that by all rights should have been there. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Sí, claro. No sé lo que es el Hangsman's Gambit. Ajá. Una frase importante que se relaciona con el incidente. Tienes que... de las que... Bueno, vale. ¡Ay! En el orden correcto me estás tomando el pelo. Esto lo voy a cagar. Uf. Hostia, aquí la voy a cagar. Aquí la voy a cagar seguro. H. Joya. La H ya la tengo. Ja. No es la A, ¿no? ¡Ay, mierda! No es. No entiendo esto. La A no es. Yo le he dado antes. No es. Que no es la A, tío. La I. Tampoco. Pero si ya le he dado a la R, a la H y a la A. Dos letras me hacen falta. No entiendo nada. No entiendo, no entiendo. Me cago en la leche, que hay que destruirlas. Que hay que dispararle varias veces. ¿Ves? Joder. El pelo. Tío, es que eso no lo sabía. Que hay que dispararla varias veces. Pensaba que era solo una.
That's right. There wasn't a single hair on the floor.
So, the culprit removed some evidence?
Yes. And if I were the culprit, why would I need to get rid of all the hair in my own room? It wouldn't be unusual at all to find my hair at the crime scene if the crime scene is in my room.
The reason all the hair was gone was to remove any trace that Sayaka had ever been there. That makes sense, does it not?
No. If that were the case, they would have had to do something about the body itself, not just her hair.
Yes, very true, very true.
Okay, then why wasn't there any hair on the ground?
The killer got rid of it all, of course, to remove any trace that they had ever been there.
Wait, then that means...
Precisely. It's simply beyond reason to believe that the room's owner and the killer are one and the same.
Then Makoto isn't the culprit?
Are you sure we can decide something so important based solely on the absence of some hair?
No. There are other reasons that prove why Makoto couldn't have done it.
I would like to hear these reasons.
Do you remember anything remarkable about the bathroom at the scene?
Sí.
Sayaka was attacked in the main room first, then fled into the bathroom, right?
Sí.
Yeah, then they ran after her, got into the bathroom, and stabbed her.
And how did the killer get into the bathroom? Did they have any trouble with it?
What do you mean?
It's fairly certain that the killer had some trouble getting into the bathroom. There was clear evidence left behind. Do you remember?
Hombre, que se la recuerdo, vamos. Este.
I got it!
Claro, rompió el
Evidence that the killer had trouble getting into the bathroom. You're talking about the doorknob, right?
Huh? The doorknob? What doorknob?
The doorknob for my bathroom. It was completely broken. See how the top part was unscrewed? And the doorknob's about ready to fall off?
Oh yeah, true. But what does it mean?
In trying to bypass the lock, they ended up nearly removing the entire door. This is another most bewildering act for the room's owner. It proves Makoto is beyond suspicion.
So what? You're saying he wouldn't break the door in his own room? But if the only choice you have is to break it, you break it. There's nothing bewildering about it.
You still don't see? Okay then. Let's take another look at how the incident unfolded. Hopefully that will help you understand.
Sí. ¿Todavía hay más que aprender? Pues claro. ¿Qué más tengo que aprender? Va a haber más puntos débiles. Ah, solo hay uno que es el real. Ah, no todos son necesariamente falsos. Tengo que darle en el punto débil que sea el verdadero. Seguramente es lo del screw, ¿no? Lo de las...
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room.
Sí.
She then fled into the bathroom.
Sí.
Then the killer ran after her.
Sí.
And they got into the bathroom.
Sí.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door.
Sí.
Because Sayaka had locked it.
Sí.
And finally, the culprit had Sayaka cornered.
To finish the job, they stabbed her with the kitchen knife.
It was you, wasn't it, Makoto? Admit it.
No.
We already know the answer.
The incident took place in Makoto's room.
Sayaka was first, she then fled into the...
Then the killer ran out and they got into the bath.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door because Sayaka had locked it.
No, it's wrong.
No, yo le quería dar al anterior. Ese está mal.
The reason my bathroom didn't open was, after all, the girls' rooms are the only ones with walking bathrooms, right?
Yes, now that you mention it, that is true.
Then why didn't your bathroom door open?
Because it was stuck.
Huh?
Ah, vale.
What are you talking about?
My bathroom door doesn't fit in the frame quite right.
Ah, pues lo he hecho bien, pero sin
Monokuma
querer.
over there can testify to that.
Yup, true as true can be. But you know, you're supposed to be the ultimate lucky student, right? But to have such a cruddy door, that's not lucky at all.
So the reason the door didn't open was just because it was stuck. But the killer didn't know that and assumed it was locked. So they tore apart the doorknob to get in.
Okay, but then why would the killer even think the door was locked in the first place? Everyone should have known you can't lock any of the boys' bathrooms.
Es verdad.
The killer could easily make that mistake, thanks to one important detail about the scene of the crime.
Es verdad. Uy. Oh, coño, me ha bajado la vida. Coño. Claro. Que me he equivocado, perdón.
The killer must not have realized that it was my room.
Qué cagadita,
What?
saying the culprit didn't even know where he was? That's inconceivable.
And yet, he's absolutely right.
Say what?
Well, to be more specific, what the killer didn't know was that Makoto and Sayaka had switched rooms, which is what led to the misunderstanding about the bathroom. If Sayaka had been in her own room, then
there would have been a lock on the door, and they would have had to break through!
So they had no idea how unnecessary their actions were.
Ultimately, we can't know if it came open by force or simply by accident. But the killer must have been considerably confused, with no idea how they actually got the door opened.
Regardless, it was a pointless act. Wasting time trying to break down a door that wasn't locked is...
definitely something I wouldn't do, since I would have known exactly why it wasn't opening, right?
That is a definite possibility.
So the killer would have to be someone who didn't know they'd switched rooms? Then Makoto couldn't have done it.
Okay, then who did do it?
I'm sorry, but I give up! Quit without saving!
But what happens if we can't decide on who we think did it?
Well, why don't we just vote right now? Majority rules!
Majority rules? You really think that's a good idea?
Yeah, our necks are on the line here. Someone seriously needs to do something. For serious.
Does no one have any other thoughts or questions? It does not matter how trivial they may seem.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I do have one question.
Oh, you
don't gotta sound so disappointed.
It's fine, it's fine. Just ask your question.
Oh yeah. Okay, so, well, I was just wondering, how did the culprit get into Makoto's room in the first place?
Se metió en la habitación del primer momento?
Yes. How did the killer get inside?
Maybe Sayaka just dropped the key somewhere and the culprit picked it up.
No.
That's possible.
I don't think so. That seems way too convenient.
Then, maybe someone picked the lock?
Negative! If you remember, Monokuma made it quite clear that the locks are all unpickable.
No... Joder, no me estoy refiriendo a que usa la ganzúa, pero sí con un tornillo, un destornillador y tal.
The killer got in the easy way. They could have knocked and said they wanted to talk or something, and Ms. Maizono just let him in.
No, that can't be it either.
Tampoco.
Oh, trying to argue against me? Sounds like someone doesn't know his place. Hello? Why exactly can't that be it?
¿Será esto? Porque al cambiar las habitaciones se prometieron. Es que no me suena a que sea ningún otro objeto.
I got it! Because Sayaka was already scared, remember? That's why she asked me to switch rooms in the first place.
¿Ves? No importa quién sea, no abres la puerta de tu dormitorio a nadie.
Knowing what she'd been through, I just can't believe she would have opened the door for anyone.
What if her being scared was a lie?
Huh?
Ah, si su mentira... O sea, si el estar con miedo fuera mentira.
What the hell is that supposed to mean? Why would she lie about something like that?
I know you don't want to consider it, but look at this and tell me. Can you still deny the possibility? I found a notepad during my search, and I shaded in the top sheet with a pencil.
Anda.
And these are the words that appeared.
Oh man! I've totally seen people do that on detective shows. When you write, it can leave an imprint. Sketch over the next sheet of paper, and you can see the words. When I saw that, I was like, holy crap! I'd better make sure I rip the paper out before I use it from now on.
It's a pretty old-fashioned technique, but even the classics can be surprisingly useful sometimes. Oh, and I should also mention, I found the notepad on the desk in Makoto's room.
Huh?
Which means only someone who had been in Makoto's room before the incident could have written it.
Then either it was Makoto who lived there, or Sayaka who switched rooms for a single night.
Anda.
So, Makoto, did you write this?
No, I didn't. But
of course you didn't, because the note also bears a perfectly legible signature. Sayaka's signature.
But why? Why would she write that?
The note was likely her way of getting in touch with a certain someone.
Sí.
She must have slid it under their door to let them know she wanted to meet with them in secret.
If you got an invitation like that from the ultimate pop sensation, what young man could resist?
Of course, I'm only into 2D, so it wouldn't have any effect on me.
But can we be sure anyone even got this note? And honestly, even if they did, I do not think they are at all involved in what happened.
Huh? What makes you say that?
Would you like to hear what I have to say?
Sí.
Very well then. Pay attention.
Oh, aquí va a haber otra cosa.
Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct? But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says, my room.
I see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Claro.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in.
No, it's wrong.
No, eso es falso porque también cambiaron las
the
placas.
nameplates on Mai and Sayaka's rooms got switched.
They got switched?
That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like the rooms themselves. As a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room actually had Makoto's name. And the nameplate on Makoto's room had Sayaka's.
So what you're saying is, the room Sayaka was staying in was actually marked as her room.
Ay Dios, que la Sayaka esta iba a matar a alguien.
Then,
Y iba a
if
culpar a
someone
Makoto.
did do what the note said, they would end up at Makoto's room where Sayaka was.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other, so switching the nameplates would be no problem. And the one who switched the names was... Well, of course it wasn't you, right, Makoto?
No.
Right?
Fue la propia Sayaka.
Okay, then who did it?
I got it!
Me and Sayaka were the only ones who ever knew about us switching rooms. So the only other person besides me who would even know to switch the nameplates was Sayaka.
You can also infer as much from her note.
Sí, es que ahora empiezo a recordar cosas de la serie, que hace tiempo que no...
She specifically tells the reader to check the nameplate. She would only have written that if she knew the nameplates had been switched.
But why would she switch them in the first place?
She wanted someone to come to the room she was in, and also hide the fact that it was Makoto's room.
Efectivamente.
What?
Inviting someone to your room, but not telling them you'd switched rooms. Why would anyone do that?
Iba a
To
matar,
understand
estaba
that,
preparándose para matar a alguien.
we first need to understand what happened after she invited the person into the room. That's where the answer lies.
What happened then was probably whoever she invited over came in and attacked her. We figured it out! We know who did it!
No.
Whoever she invited over is the culprit!
But we still don't know who it is, you goddamn idiot!
Sayaka fought with her killer there in the room, yes? Perhaps the answer to our previous question lies in that initial strike.
Yes, I think you're right.
Then... we just have to figure out what happened during the fight, right?
That reminds me. There was a replica sword at the murder scene. Was that perhaps used during the fight?
Oh yeah. What's the deal with that sword?
Sayaka suggested I should hold on to it. I thought it might come in handy if I had to defend myself. It seems pretty likely that the killer used it to break Sayaka's right wrist.
How the hell could you possibly know that's what broke her wrist?
Claro.
I got it!
Porque está
All you
manchada.
have to do is take a good look at her broken wrist, and it should become pretty clear. Right there where her wrist is all swollen, there's something glittery there. See?
Is that gold?
It sure is. Specifically, the gold coating from the replica sword. You barely have to touch that stuff, and it'll stick right to you. And there's some on her wrist because...
I got it! Because she got hit with the sword, right there on her wrist!
I see. And so the truth draws ever closer.
All right, then it's about time to solve this mystery.
Sí, yo siempre me quedo enterado de qué pasa. ¡Oh, Dios santo! Y tengo que pulsar L para cambiar. Réplica, cuchillo y réplica sword. O sea, una cosa es la funda, otra la...
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
Sneak attack?
That's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist.
So, she tried to grab the kitchen knife she had hidden away, but then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened.
Vale, tiene que ser el primero. Porque es el que...
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
¿Será este? No.
Shoot!
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first sword-based sneak attack.
Claro, no, tendría que sacar o sea, la cogía tal cual y atacó con eso y luego ya la sacó de su funda, ¿no? Supongo. Y si no, no lo entiendo.
Actually, no. I don't think the fight started with the sword. Because the sword sheath had been scratched. See? There's a gash in it. Like someone cut into it with something sharp.
Con el cuchillo ya se defendió o lo que sea, o intentó atacarle y claro,
Something sharp? You mean like the kitchen knife? That was the only sharp thing found at the scene.
Stop jumping ahead. Slow down and explain it so I get what the hell's going on.
If the sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch on the sheath.
Claro, es verdad.
If you were going to attack with the sword, you'd take it out of the sheath first, right?
That's true. With the sheath on, it'd be heavy and bulky and useless as shit.
Okay, so how did the sheath get damaged?
If they got attacked with the kitchen knife, maybe they grabbed the sword as a defensive impulse.
Claro.
In that situation, there wouldn't be any time to actually unsheath the sword.
So you're saying the sword was initially used to defend against an attack from the knife?
Which means whoever had the kitchen knife was the one who attacked first.
I think I get it! So here's how it all played out. The culprit came in, found the kitchen knife hidden there somewhere. Then they took the knife and attacked Sayaka before she knew what was happening. So she grabbed the sword to defend herself. But then the culprit took that from her. Then, after they broke her wrist with the sword, they took the knife and...
Sorry, but I don't think Sayaka used the sword to defend herself.
What? How the hell can you not think that?
Because she never held the sword at all. There's a certain part of her body that makes this clear.
Esto no.
Shoot!
¿Cómo que no? Claro, porque no tendrá manchas en las palmas de las manos.
About her palms.
Tontería,
The
macho.
palms of her hands were perfectly clean.
How can you know?
Like I said before, the gold coating on that sword comes right off. All you have to do is touch it. In fact, if you look, you'll notice that a lot of the gold has already come off the handle. It's safe to assume that's because whoever used the sword got some of it on their hands. There's really no way she could have picked it up and come away completely clean.
Maybe she washed her hands after she escaped into the bathroom.
No.
Sorry, but I don't think so.
Why do you say that? Is it because you think I'm ugly?
No, that's not it at all.
Claro, esto.
I got it!
Se cierra el
According to
agua
the
por la noche.
Monokuma file, Sayaka's time of death was around, in other words, at nighttime. And the water in the bathroom shuts off at night.
Oh, I didn't know that.
¿Cómo que no lo sabes?
I haven't taken a shower here yet.
Aquí, cerda.
Oh, my.
You're no different. You smell like a big fat ugly donkey.
I'm not sure whether to take that as an insult or a compliment.
An insult, obviously.
So anyway, if Sayaka never touched the sword, then that means the killer is the only one who used the sword. But hold on. If that's right, then the one who damaged the sheath with the kitchen knife was...
I got it!
Fue la propia Sayaka, evidentemente.
She had the kitchen...
But we already said that the attack started with...
The person with the knife attacked first, and the sword was used as an impromptu defense.
Then the one who attacked first was...
Sayaka?
Now do you understand? She wasn't a blameless victim in this.
No, far from it. It's almost as if she'd been planning to commit a murder of her own. She took the knife from the kitchen, then invited the culprit to the room she was staying in. And if it's true that she had the kitchen knife and attacked without provocation...
Indeed. These are all the actions of an assailant.
Which brings up another point. Makoto, Sayaka was the one who suggested you two switch rooms, correct? Maybe the reason she wanted to switch rooms was so that she could pin the crime on you. That is a possibility, is it not?
Sayaka wanted to... on me?
That would also explain why she would switch the nameplates. She wanted to get whoever she had targeted to come to Makoto's room where she was staying. And by committing the murder there, instead of her room, that would implicate Makoto. But for that to work, the target had to be lured out while still keeping the room swap a secret. If the target knew she had switched rooms, they would have become suspicious right away.
Claro.
So all that's why she switched the names?
But doesn't that plan seem a little risky? For one thing, even if her plan worked, Mr. Naegi would just tell everyone they'd switched rooms.
Claro.
I don't know. I'm not sure our soft-hearted Makoto is capable of that kind of cutthroat behavior. I'm sure Sayaka realized the same thing, which is why out of all of us, she asked him to switch rooms.
Plus, she was the ultimate pop sensation, a totally forgettable kid, or a national superstar. Who are you more likely to believe?
Wait, then you're saying she had this all planned out?
Holy shit!
But in the end, her plan backfired. She launched her attack with the knife, then found herself under attack in turn. That must be when her wrist got broken, and she was forced to drop the knife.
The tables were suddenly turned on her, and she died at the hands of the one she'd planned to murder.
Just hold on! That can't be true! Because...
Hey! You guys have totally derailed the argument. You're being super boring right now. Come on, hurry up and decide who did it. Wouldn't it be awful if I had to punish you all just because you ran out of time?
Oh yeah, we gotta decide who we think did it.
Makoto, Right now, you just need to concentrate on figuring out the answer to this mystery. If we can't uncover who murdered Sayaka, it's over for all of us.
Make your argument. El mensaje, claro. Lo de León estaba clarísimo.
It's easy just to say, hey, decide who did it. But there just aren't any more clues, right?
Claro que hay.
No, it's wrong.
Hay un montón más de pruebas, pero bueno.
There still might be one clue left. Sayaka's dying message.
Dining? Wait, what did you say?
The dying message. She wrote something on the wall behind her, remember? 11037.
Que no es eso, que pone León,
Written in
claramente.
her own blood.
Well, before we get too far into that, I need to ask, can we really be sure that Sayaka is the one who wrote it?
Aquí.
I got it! Her left index finger had blood on it. That could only be because she used that finger to write the message.
I see. She broke her right wrist during the fight, so she'd have to use her left hand to write.
Sure. I think we can all agree Sayaka wrote it. But still... What the heck do those numbers mean?
Que no son números, que son letras,
Hey,
tío. Que se ve
Chihiro,
claramente,
you're
tío.
a computer nerd or whatever, right? You should know all about numbers and shit.
No, that's not... Yes, I'm a programmer, but I don't see any kind of meaning in these numbers.
Of course.
A lo mejor para los japoneses tiene más sentido porque son letras occidentales en vez de kanjis y todo eso, pero joder.
Yeah,
What?
Claro.
No, it's just look at the numbers, assuming they're not numbers.
Claro.
Don't these first two, 1-1, look less like two numbers and more like one letter?
Ah, you're right. The connecting line is barely there, so I assumed it was 1-1, but looking at it now, you could also read it as an N.
Whoa, you might have finally just said something worth a shit.
Our little gray cells are really getting excited now.
But even if that really is an N037, doesn't make any more sense than before.
Rotate the image 180 degrees.
Menos mal.
Oh my god. Now I see. She wrote down the killer's name.
Huh? You just shot past the clue part and right onto who did it.
So, whose name did she write?
Está clarísimo.
Here's my answer. The key to solving this mystery was simply to rotate the writing 180 degrees. If you turn the message around, it becomes the letters L-E-O-N. L-E-O-N. Or more accurately, Leon.
Ahí está.
What the hell are you talking
Además, las
about?
mangas son iguales.
It's just a bunch of random squiggles that happen to look like my name.
No, it's not random at all. She wrote that message on the wall behind her as she was leaning up against it. In that position, she couldn't move to write normally, and had to write upside down, as it were. And as a result, when you look at it standing in front of her, it ends up getting flipped. Try it for yourself if you want. Write something sitting like her, and the letters will be inverted.
That sounds like one hell of a stretch to me. I'm the killer? You can't just go and say shit like that.
If you're not the killer, then why did you try to destroy the evidence?
Exactamente.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The evidence Leon tried to get rid of?
Esto es para despistar. Es esta.
I got it! You mean The burnt shirt piece I found laying on the ground by the incinerator, right?
As the killer stabbed Sayaka, they must have gotten some of her blood on them. And to dispose of the shirt covered in the victim's blood, they threw it into the incinerator.
But one piece burned off and got left behind.
And the killer didn't notice. If they had, they most certainly would have panicked. Isn't that right, Leon?
But is one scrap of fabric enough to conclude that Leon is guilty?
Yeah, I mean, Leon's not the only one wearing a white button-up.
That's right. There are plenty of other people here with shirts like mine. With just that one little charred piece, there's no way you can say for sure who it belongs to.
You're right. That alone isn't enough. But there are some other points that may reveal the truth.
Are you finally starting to understand? The answers to all the riddles are right here.
Yeah, I think so.
No tengo tan claro, ¿eh? ¿Cuándo? ¿Dónde? ¿O cómo? No lo tengo muy claro, ¿eh? ¿Será el cuándo? No.
¡Shoot!
Mierda, esto no lo tengo muy claro, no sé cómo se hace. ¿Dónde o cómo? ¿El cómo?
I got it! If you look closely at how the shirt was disposed of, we should be able to figure out who the killer is.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I think I know what you're gonna say. You can't reach the incinerator without opening the gate in front of the trash room, right?
Ah, vale.
And obviously, you wouldn't be able to hit the switch to turn it on either. You'd need the key to get in, and the one with the key was the person on cleaning duty. So the killer had to be whoever was in charge of taking care of the trash, right?
Interesting.
Ah, coño, ya sé cómo lo hizo. Tiró, como es de béisbol, sabe lanzar y tiró la mierda esta, la de cristal, y le dio el botón con la de cristal, claro.
The key to the trash room. Whoever was on cleaning duty must have had it, right?
Coño, que está dando
the
botón.
only one who could get to the incinerator.
No.
And you'd have to get close to the incinerator,
Esta,
which
venga,
means
dispara.
the only possible
Coño, otra vez.
suspect is whoever had...
Okay, so...
A ver.
Key to the track. Whoever was on clean.
So the only one, the person in charge of...
And you'd have to get close to the incinerator.
Ahora le he dado, tío, que le he dado antes y no salía. Joder. Bueno, en verdad le he dado dos, pero me da cuenta que esta era la buena.
Hold on. I think I know how someone could dispose of the evidence without...
But if you can't get past the gate, you couldn't possibly turn on the
Yes, you could. If you used this.
What is it, some kind of glass ball?
Actually, it was supposed to be a crystal ball, but...
But how would you use it?
Throw it.
I got it!
Claro, la lanzó.
The killer simply took aim at the incinerator switch and threw the ball through a gap in the gate. All they had to do was hit that switch, and the incinerator would come to life.
One through that... through a gap in the gate?
Remember what you said before, Hifumi? Hifumi had the key. So the only way the incinerator could have been turned on without his knowledge was because the killer was able to hit the switch without opening the gate. Once they got the incinerator going, all they had to do was ball up the shirt and toss it in.
Hey, come on! What the hell is this?
All you have to do is look at the scene to know that the killer never actually went inside the trash room. The shards of broken glass, the incinerator left running, the piece of shirt that escaped the fire. If the killer had been on cleaning duty, the evidence would have been taken care of much more thoroughly.
Wait, no, just hold on.
But the distance from the gate to the incinerator has to be at least 30 feet, right? The pinpoint accuracy you'd need to throw a glass ball that far and hit something that small. Could someone really do that?
That's right. There's no way. It'd be impossible.
Difficult, absolutely. Impossible? I don't think so. Because the killer is... I got it! Because the killer is the ultimate baseball star. Isn't that right?
Do you have any idea how stupid you sound right now?
A target 30 feet away would surely be little challenge for the ultimate baseball star.
You can't be serious. I'm not the killer! These goddamn shepherd brains have got it all wrong, I'm telling you!
You still won't admit it? Okay then, Makoto. Go ahead and review the incident one more time to make his crime perfectly clear. And with that, we can end this.
Listen to me! What the hell do you mean, end this?
Say what you want, Leon. But all the questions have been answered. And the truth has been revealed.
Sí.
Now here's what happened.
Enseñar más porque ya está todo enseñado. Sí. Hostia, a ver. Esto, a ver cómo es, porque... Vale, tiene que ser esto, ¿no? ¿No es esto? No entiendo. Ah, vale. La siguiente es esta. Esto es aquí. A ver. Hostia, es más complicado manejar esto que yo que sé, ¿eh? Vale, espera. ¡Joder! Esto va aquí. Esto va aquí. Espérate, o esto va aquí. Ah, no, sí está bien. Esto va aquí. Esto va aquí. Esto debe ser aquí. Joder, vamos a ver, esto me lía un montón. Esto va aquí. Ya está, ¿no? Ah, no. Esto es aquí. ¿Me falta algo?
The killer is you! I think I'd better take one more look. Last night, the killer went from what we can tell. She attacked them with the knife she... But then something happened that she wasn't prepared for. They grabbed the fake sword I put in my... During the struggle, a strike from the sword broke Sayaka's right wrist.
Y el cuchillo se cayó. ese no es. Entonces sí que es este.
The killer is you! During the struggle, a strike from the sword broke Sayaka's right wrist.
Te lo han llamado, ¿no?
And that's when she lost her grip. Finding herself cornered, Sayaka panicked and ran into the bathroom.
Ya todo tiene que estar bien, ya no puede estar nada mal.
The killer went after her, but couldn't get the bathroom door open. What they didn't know was that my bathroom door got stuck easily, and there was a trick to opening it. Sayaka knew about that because I told her, but of course the killer had no way of knowing. So instead, the killer forced the door open, took the kitchen knife, and stabbed Sayaka.
Entonces ella pintó el nombre.
But with what strength she had remaining, Sayaka left a dying message. To keep the killer from noticing, she wrote it on the wall behind her. And with that, all her strength was gone. With Sayaka dead, the killer quickly began destroying the evidence. First, they took off their shirt, which was covered in their victim's blood. Then they took the lint roller in my room and cleaned up the entire area. They wanted to make sure they got rid of any trace they'd ever been there. Afterwards, the killer headed to the trash room to destroy their bloody shirt. They tried to burn the shirt using the incinerator there, but the trash room was blocked off by an especially sturdy gate, preventing access to the incinerator.
Vale, ábreles que ahora voy. No se puede parar esto aquí, ¿verdad?
So they came up with a plan to use Hero's crystal ball, which he left in the laundry room. The killer managed to throw the ball through the gap in the gate. And for any normal person, that'd be an impossible throw. But the killer had the confidence to take a shot, and that's because the killer was the ultimate baseball star.
Vale, si lo sabíamos. Y lo mismo que
The
esto,
crystal
esto y
ball,
lo otro.
thrown with absolute precision, hit the switch on the incinerator, which then quickly roared to life. Having destroyed the final piece of evidence, they left the area with, I imagine, a sigh of relief. But there was one thing they missed. Part of the shirt they'd thrown into the fire burnt away and fell out of the incinerator. The killer didn't notice this, and so left behind a piece of indisputable evidence.
Tío, quiero guardar que en medio estoy, no me quiero ir ya.
Isn't that right, Leon? It would appear that...
No puedo guardar. Sí puedo guardar. Lo siento, pero aquí se queda. Continuaremos después. Sorry, pero es lo que hay. Hay que dejarlo.